everybody, my name is Sera Jo. This week, I'm co-hosting music lessons with Carlos. See you!
Welcome everybody to another live session in music lesson webinar with Carlos. Today we will cover different topics such as ear training, music theory, keyboard skills, chord progressions, and contemporary voicings. We also have some new piano tutorials, so stay tuned and let's get started. Okay, sorry for this. Okay, now we're all set. Yeah, you were not hearing my voice, but I wanted to thank Sera Jo for her video, for supplying us with her latest blues and G walking bassline video, and she finished a whole series of walking basslines in all 12 keys. So I would like to play this video again, and here we go.
2, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, and now we're gonna start our workouts. Yeah, we're gonna start our workouts, and I would like to start today with melodic minor scale. And how do we work with a melodic minor scale of all the scales? We work using something called the cluster technique. So we're gonna play the lower 4 notes with the left hand and the upper 4 notes with the right hand. And we're gonna hold all the notes together. Yeah, so we're gonna end up, and we're gonna call this a cluster. Cluster, which is a word that comes from 20th century classical music, which means a chord made out of consecutive seconds. So we're gonna use those graphics here. We have the name of the scale, then we have the intervals in between notes. We have the solfege syllables, and that never gonna change because from key to key, because we're using a movable do system, and then we have the name of the notes. So why don't we do this? Yeah, we're gonna build them ascending and descending in different keys, and we're gonna sing at the same time. Here we go. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And we're gonna hold this scale down. Yeah, so we're gonna get to know our melodic minor scale. And now we're gonna go now to F, but F, we're gonna build them descending. And here we go. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. And we're gonna hold all the notes together. Yeah, that's a wonderful warm-up. Yeah, why don't we do as many keys as we can? B flat, ascending. We're gonna go ascending now. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And together. Now let's do E flat, but this time descending. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. And together. And now let's work with the enharmonic with D sharp, but this time ascending. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Yes, and we have a C double sharp. Yeah, we're gonna become comfortable, yeah, with double sharps and double flats. And let's work with G sharp harmonic, but this time descending. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. And together. Now we're gonna move on to C sharp, but this time ascending. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And one more scale, because now I want to take it to another level. Let's go to F sharp, and now descending. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, and together. Okay, so this is what I call the cluster technique. Yeah, and this we're going to apply to every conceivable scales. Yeah, modes, altered modes, symmetrical scale, hybrid scale, blues scale, pentatonic scales, you name it. Yeah, and is to create a geometrical shape of the scale, so then we can use it. Oh, I'm going to use my melodic minor with this chord. And so on, yeah? So what would be the next step? How about the next step? We're going to work with 2-note diatonic patterns. We're going to start with the most simple one. Let's go to another key. Let's go to the key of G melodic minor. So we're going to build it. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And now we're going to build, and this workout is great for performance and also for vocalists, for songwriters. It just helps us navigate melodically very well through all our chord scale system. So we're going to create diatonic thirds. Do, mi, re, fa. We're going to play do, mi, re, fa all the way up and then all the way down. Yeah, so here we go. Do, mi, re, fa, mi, sol, fa, la, sol, ti, la, do, ti, re, do. Very good. Now descending. Do, mi, ti, re, la, do, sol, ti, fa, la, mi, sol, re, fa, do, mi, do. In this workout, we should do in all 12 keys. We're not going to have time to do in all 12 keys, but we're going to explore a few. Which key should we do? We did key of, let's do key of D. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. First we do the cluster, and now we're going to do this 2-note diatonic patterns. There in some books you're going to find this diatonic pattern. Some people call it a diad. You know, I think that this comes from the Charlie Banaco's school of improvisation. Yeah, so it is a very useful word to remember this pattern. So here we go. We're going to do diatonic thirds, ascending and descending via D melodic minor. And do, mi, re, fa, mi, sol, fa, la, sol, ti, la, do, ti, re, do, descending. Do, me, ti, re, la, do, sol, ti, fa, la, me, sol, re, fa, do, me, do. Okay, a lot of the melodic workouts that I practice, yeah, they always supports, yeah, my harmonic and improvisation development, yeah. So you're gonna see how I always combine scales with different chords, and that's something called chord pairing, and we're gonna explore that even more. I wanna do a couple more keys. Okay, A is too simple, E is too simple. Okay, let's do F sharp. Okay, F sharp. And here we go. We're gonna do F sharp, and first we're gonna do the cluster. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Okay, that's the way it looks like. So as you already seen, we're kind of bypassing notes and key signatures and everything, and we're just focusing on the geometrical visual aspect. And when we do the cluster, we're also focusing on the kinesthetic and auditory aspect, yeah, of the how to experience that scale. So now we're going to practice our diatonic thirds, yeah, our diads going up and down. Do, me, re, fa, mi, sol, fa, la, sol, ti, la, do, ti, re, do. Descending. Do, me, ti, re, la, do, sol, ti, fa, la, me, sol, re, fa, do, me, do. And we're gonna do one more key. One more key. Which key should we do? Let's do a tricky one. Let's go all the way to D sharp. Why not? And we're gonna think about our C double sharp. Yeah, but we're gonna do this in a graphic way. Yeah, so it's not gonna be that difficult. Okay, we're gonna do another cluster on D sharp. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and our T is at C double sharp. Ti, do, and now we're gonna do our diatonic thirds going up and down. And let's see if you can have the names of the sharp notes in the back of your mind, so you're training yourself also to work with different enharmonic spellings. So here we go. Do, me, re, fa, mi, sol, fa, la, sol, ti, la, do, ti, re, do. Descending. Do, me, ti, re, la, do, sol, ti, fa, la, mi, sol, re, fa, do, me, do. Okay, so good. We finished. This is actually a great warm-up. Okay, so I'm glad that we worked with scales, and actually scales should be a good warm-up. So now I have some students, songwriting students and production students, and they were asking me, Carlos, what would be a good chord progression? Okay, not this one. A good chord progression for songwriters. Yeah, and there are several ones, yeah, that we can work out. But the main one is this. Is the diatonic chord progression going up and down. Yeah, and we're gonna practice that, but in a different way. Yeah. In learning, there is this new concept that when we are naming something while we play, while we act, our level of learning just goes through another level. So we have two objects that we can name at the same time aloud, and you have to name them aloud. That's part of the technique. Yeah, one of them is we can name the chord symbols, okay, like C, D minor, E minor, and so on. And the other one is we can name the Roman numerals, yeah? So the Roman numerals is acting like this immovable do solfege, which is, it doesn't change from key to key, it's exactly the same. So we're gonna use a couple techniques, yeah? We're gonna play left hand root and right hand chord, and we're gonna go ascending. And then we're gonna work with bass clef. And in bass clef, we're gonna play with our left hand, but we're gonna play the root with our right hand. Yeah, and we're gonna go ascending or descending too. We can just start reading right to left. Why not? Why not? Yeah. So we're practicing in all different ways. Okay. And we should practice actually in different keys. Yeah. So let's see. And after we feel comfortable in major, guess what? We should practice the same thing in natural minor, melodic minor, harmonic minor. And we feel comfortable with the major and minor polarities. Then guess what? We should take the same process and we should practice all our diatonic triads in all the modes. Yeah, and when we do that, oh boy, then our whole music making starts going to another level. Yeah, so we're gonna start super simple. This is for all my songwriting students. Yeah, not only for my songwriting students, but this is actually something very relevant. Yeah, that I practice with all my non-keyboard majors. Yeah, which usually are my vocalist, songwriting students, and production students. So here we go. Let's work out, and we're gonna read and we're gonna name. Let's name the chord symbols aloud. C, D minor, E minor, F major, G. Usually the major is implied. A minor, B diminished, C major. Okay, good. Yeah, so that was a nice little workout. And now we're gonna work with our bass. We're gonna work with our bass clef and we're gonna play our root now on top as a melody. And how about if we name the Roman numerals? Yeah, we're gonna name them. So our mind is gonna focus on that. 1 major, 2 minor, 3 minor, 4 major, 5 major, 6 minor, 7 diminished, 1 major. Okay, good. What should we do next? Let's go to another key. F is too easy. B flat is okay. E flat is, yeah, if E flat can be challenging, yeah? So let's do our cluster, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. But now I want to do something else. Instead of reading ascending, we're going to read descending. We're going to read from the right to the left. Yes, we're going to do this. Okay, here we go. Here we go. We're going to start here. We're going to read backwards. Actually, we're going to practice this way. Okay, so, and we're going to read the chord symbols. E flat major, D diminished, C minor, B flat major, A flat major, G minor, F minor, E flat major. See, that was not too difficult. Okay, and now we're going to go to bass clef. Bass clef. And why don't we read from right to left? Yeah, for just because. Yeah, actually, it's to develop more like a mental flexibility. And we're gonna name the Roman numerals aloud. Yeah, so here we go. 1 major, 7 diminished, 6 minor, 5 major, 4 major, 3 minor, 2 minor, 1 major. We should practice this. Yeah, we should actually practice this in all 12 keys. I want to do one more key. Which key should we do? Let's do D flat. Yeah, let's get used to working with our key signatures, in all 12 major and all 12 minor keys. Yeah, and they have a lot of flexibility. And then, of course, we can also do the an alternative way that we can practice everything with open keys, and that's actually very good too, because a lot of contemporary composers are using just open keys for everything. They're not using key signatures. Yeah, even some jazz composers. Why? What is the reason? Because their music is so chromatic and so modal, and the tonal centers are just shifting, or sometimes it even disappears. Yeah, so then to have everything as an open key is a very good choice. Okay. We're gonna read now, normally, left to right, ascending, and we are gonna name, what should we name? Yeah, we're gonna name now the Roman numerals. We're gonna name them aloud. 1 major, 2 minor, 3 minor, 4 major, 5 major, 6 minor, 7 diminished, 1 major. Good. And now we're gonna work with bass clef, bass clef. And we're gonna name the chord symbols, yeah? We're gonna name them aloud. D flat major, E flat minor, F minor, G flat major, A flat major, B flat minor, C diminished, and D flat major. Okay, so what we have done now is just the basic diatonic triads in relationship to major keys. Yeah, that would be a foundational practice, especially for songwriters, composers, and producers. Yeah. So, and everybody else. Yeah, and actually then, you know what I'm going to do next time? I'm going to bring them, but all in first inversion and second inversion. Yeah, so we're going to, and why not? We should do the same with 7 chords. Like Lenny Tristano, he used to do those practices with our poor students. Yeah, but we're going to practice them too. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun doing that. Okay. So that was my songwriting level, harmonic workouts. Now I want to go to another level. Yeah, I want to work with intervals. Why intervals? Intervals, they are 2 aspects. Yeah, they are behind all our musical perception, in my opinion. One is the visual aspect, and I use intervals for all the visual aspect. And the other one is solfege. That's the language. Yeah, so we want both. We want visual and we want language, and we want to integrate both. So when we start integrating this almost like a machine language, a subconscious meaning in music, then we start flowing. Yeah, we start flowing. Yeah, we can do many things. Okay. We're gonna practice our 11ths. Where do we find 11ths? Sharp 11ths. Whenever we have maybe a dominant chord with a sharp 11. Yeah. How about if we have an altered chord with a flat 9 sharp 11? Yeah, that's a sharp 11 too. How about if we have even a major like a Lydian mode? Yeah, we have a sharp 11. Yeah, we have a sharp 11 in all of those. And we should be able to see them ascending. So, I'm in the key of E flat. I have my sharp 11 on top. Key of D flat, sharp 11 on top. Key of B, sharp 11 on top. Okay, so that's what we're doing this. Okay, in the other way, we're gonna practice sharp 11s or augmented 11s. Yeah, I'm teaching in Los Angeles College of Music, and sometimes we use a different term, augmented 11s. But at Berkeley, when I used to teach at Berkeley, we use sharp 11s. Yeah. So, anyways, okay. So another way is we have to see them descending. Why? Why do we need to see our sharp 11s descending? Why? Because we are gonna see notes, and we can see the note. Oh, this note D is my sharp 11 of this chord. This note E flat is my sharp 11 of this chord. This note C is my sharp 11 of this chord. Yeah, so we are practicing in harmonizing melodies. Yeah, that would be one application of being able to perceive intervals descending, and the other one ascending. That's more obvious. This is just we're just building chords. Okay. Here we go. We're gonna practice. And what is this circle? This is one of the best pages I ever written, and it's in my website in Campos Music, and also lessonswithcarlos.com. It's just a cycle page. Yeah, so there's a little bit of a story behind this page. When I was a student, yeah, I like all my friends at Berkeley, we used to be like a cycle of fourths students, you know, which is, we were practicing in all 12 keys, but we were stuck with our cycle of fourths. You took our cycle of fourths and you asked us to go in a different way. We couldn't do anything. Yeah, we would collapse. Yeah, so. And that, of course, that had really, terrible repercussions later on when I was, starting to play gigs and stuff. Yeah, so one of my teachers told me, Carlos, why don't you start, just working in a different ways, write your own cycles. And that's what I did. Yeah, I started to write different cycles. And I came up with, 12. I have my cycle of fourths, cycle of fifths. Yeah, let me show them here. Yeah, my cycle of fourths, but I have them with flats and also with sharps. Why with sharps? Because, I went to a jazz school, so then most of my teachers were big band, horn players, and most horn players, they are kind of biased towards the flat keys, and without even knowing, they were kind of sharing their own musical perceptual bias, yeah, and we didn't know back then. So I tried to correct my own programming later on. So every single cycle that I use, I write them in with flats and then with sharps, flats and then with sharps. Yeah, so then we are very comfortable with all our enharmonic spellings. Okay, so I decided that I was gonna do my a major third cycle. So here we go. We're gonna practice. We're gonna go clockwise, and I'm gonna play a note, and I'm gonna say sharp 11. Then we're gonna go to the next note. So here we go. Follow me. C. Sharp 11, next note, E, sharp 11, yeah? And I can actually expand or contract, yeah? So that's part of this technique, yeah? When we deal with extended intervals, we can expand them, we can contract them, yeah? And why would that be? Because sometimes you want to play a chord like this, yeah, sharp 11, but sometimes you want to play a chord like this. Yeah, so you want to be able to see your voicings in a more close position, and you also want to spread them out when you're dealing with orchestration. Okay, good. Where was I? E. Let's do E. Sharp 11. A flat. Sharp 11. D flat. Sharp 11. F. A. D, sharp 11, G flat, B flat, sharp 11, E flat, G, sharp 11, B, sharp 11. Okay, so that's a great workout. All our sharp 11s ascending, and every single week I want to do a different interval. Yeah, this is kind of the core, yeah, of so many things that we're doing. One moment, let me bring another window up. Okay, Steve, welcome, and welcome everybody else. Yeah, it's great to see my students coming back every week. That kind of to a musician, to a teacher, that's a great motivation. Yeah, so that keeps me thinking about new material. Okay, now augmented 11ths, descending. So augmented 11ths. So this is for harmonizing melodies. As we said, if I say have this C is gonna be my sharp 11, or maybe my sharp 11 of this chord. Yeah, of a G flat major 7. So let's change cycles. And we were talking about cycles with sharps. Let's work with sharps, yeah? So we don't end up being a flat musician, but we can deal with sharps and flats and double sharps and double flats, very effortlessly. It's just part of our grammar. Yeah, we're not afraid of them anymore. Okay, so let's start. C, sharp 11 down. E, sharp 11 down. G sharp, sharp 11 down. C sharp, sharp 11 down. F, sharp 11 down. Okay, what would he be? Yeah, that would be nice. A, sharp 11 down. D, sharp 11 down. F sharp, sharp 11 down. A sharp in a sharp 11 down. D sharp, sharp 11 down. G, sharp 11 down. B, sharp 11 down. Okay, yeah, so this is a great way of practicing intervals. Yeah, great way of practicing. Okay. Next, we are working with chords today. Yeah, so I already worked with my diatonic triads. And that was for all my songwriting students, and this is for everybody. Intervals, intervals and solfege. That's going to be our daily diet, at least in my classes. Okay, next I want to work with chord extensions. There are so many different chord extensions that we can work, and actually I only write them in C because we have to transpose them to all 12 keys on our own. If I write them in all 12 keys, I remember I asked some of my students, especially my students which are classically trained, and I say, hey, how about if I just write this in all 12 keys? Well, my students, they were saying, absolutely not, Carlos. If you do, then what I'm going to end up doing, I'm just going to read them like I read everything else. I'm not going to learn anything. And then that kind of reminds me, the way Bach used to train himself and his students with the cantus firmus, the figure bass, which is a type of code that we have. And then we have to, work it out. When we work out a certain type of puzzle, our musical intelligence or any type of intelligence develops. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, here we have a minor triad. We add a minor 7, we add a 9th, we add an 11th, and then we're going to add a 13th. If I would be putting, we can see them in different ways. We can add, we can see the interval, root, flat 3, 5, flat 7, 9, 11, and 13th. Yeah, and that's one way that we should see them. The other way would be with solfege. Do, me, sol, te, re, fa, la. We're gonna play this in different keys, and I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna be switching between intervals. We're gonna name them aloud, and we're gonna, the next chord, I'm gonna switch to solfege. So we're gonna go back and forth. And let's see what happens. F, intervals. Root, flat 3, 5, flat 7, 9, 11, 13th. B flat, solfege. Do, me, so, te, re, fa, la. E flat, intervals, root, minor third, 5, flat 7, 9, 11, 13th. G sharp, solfege, do, me, so, te, re, fa, la. C sharp, intervals, root, flat 3, 5, flat 7, 9, 11, 13. F sharp, solfege, do, me, sol, te, re, fa, la. Actually, this is actually a really good way to practice. B, intervals, root, flat 3, 5, flat 7, 9, 11, 13th. E, solfege, do, me, sol, te, re, fa, la. And let's go to A, intervals. Root, flat 3, 5, flat 7, 9, 11, 13. D, solfege, do, me, sol, te, re, fa, la. And last one, let's go to G, now intervals. Root, flat 3, 5, flat 7, 9, 11, 13th. See this technique that we're using, we're naming something, we're naming an aspect of our practice aloud when we're doing this. You know, many years I read this book, Super Learning, and when I was there teaching at Berkeley, my colleagues were saying, "Hey, Carlos, what are you doing? You know, what have you been smoking?" You know, but now it's becoming mainstream. Yeah, so now I can talk about those things. Yeah, and one of the things is how our attention configures itself. Yeah, according to how we name certain things while we are practicing. Yeah, so I want to use this technique. Yeah, so I'm gonna name certain things. So in this technique, we had two objects that we were naming. One was intervals, and that kind of emphasizes the visual aspect. And then we switched to the next chord, and we were naming solfege syllables, and that emphasizes the language aspect. Yeah, so why don't you try practicing this? Yeah, using those two techniques. Okay, what are we gonna do next? Salsa. Actually, I want to do merengue first. Yeah, I want to do merengue first. And you know, I was listening the other day to my favorite, all-time favorite, Juan Luis Guerra. Juan Luis Guerra, he went to Berkeley. You know, he was actually in a couple of my classes. Yeah, and you know, we both were students at that time. Yeah, and I remember he was a very quiet, you know, kind of spiritually inclined person. Yeah, and never talked too much. And then later on, you know, I was, you know, wow, I'm amazed about all his body of work, you know, and how much he influenced, you know, every Latin American composer and songwriter. You know, well, he certainly influenced me, yeah, in a very positive way. So now we are gonna check a merengue pattern. Okay, now this is an interesting pattern. Now we're gonna do this pattern in Pambiche style. 264 beats per minute. So get your wrists loosened up. Yeah, get your wrists loosened up. Yeah, so here we go. Of course, we're gonna take it apart. Yeah, then we're gonna go back and we're gonna play it slowly. Yeah, but this actually is interesting. Okay, so here we go.
1, 2, 1.
Okay, so what this pattern is very interesting is usually, you know, in jazz we have a harmonic rhythm, which is 2-5-1. But in Latin music, sometimes in Afro-Latin music, we have the opposite. We have 1-2-5. Yeah, and why would that be? It is because by doing that, you create kind of a forward motion harmonically. Yeah, look, we have the 5 at the very end. In classical music, sometimes that's called the half cadence. Yeah, in half cadences, on purpose, they leave you hanging in there. So you want to go someplace else. Yeah, so instead of having 2-5-1, we have a 1, we have 2-5, and you want to go someplace else. Yeah. Okay, so this is a great little pattern to learn. Yeah. So here we go. Let's listen to it again, and then we're gonna play at a slower tempo. Good.
1, 2, 1.
Okay, now we are gonna take this down a bit. Yeah, tempo wise.
1, 2, 1.
Okay, so now we're gonna practice bass and percussion only. Yeah. Yeah, so I would like you to pay attention also because we're working in Pambiche style. So we remember merengue, we have two main styles, Pambiche and derecho and apambichao or Pambiche. Yeah, so we are going to work now in Pambiche style, which is more like the syncopated style. And let's work with bass and percussion.
1, 2, 1.
Okay, so that was 180 beats per minute. So now we're gonna move on to what is 264. So get ready, get those wrists really open, yeah? And we're gonna start practicing 264 beats per minute, I think.
1, 2, 1.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed this merengue, and this kind of brings me some memories when I was many years when I was living in Boston, and I was playing, I was doing my 5 and 6 nighters a week in different salsa clubs. So in all those sets, we used to play salsa merengue back and forth. So guess what? We're gonna work now with some Salsa Montuno in all 12 keys. All 12 keys. Here we go. Hi everybody. Today we're going to play a 1-5-7-1 Montuno pattern in 2-3 clave. The Montuno pattern is 4 measures long. We're going to play it 4 times, and then we're going to move to another key. We're going to go through all 12 keys using the cycle of 4s. Why don't we start?
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, I hope that you enjoyed this class today. And we're going to continue next week. Yeah, I want to do more tension substitutions. I wanted to do a start with the minor 7 Dorian group. Yeah, with a close position tension substitution. So we're going to do that next week. I really liked what we did today with Diads in melodic minor. Maybe we should do that with all the different chord and scale pairings. Yeah, so that would be good. So then I will see everybody next Saturday, next week, and have a wonderful weekend.
So, thank you for being with me in this live broadcast. We covered a lot of material, and we're going to continue to do so in our next class. I'll see you next week, same time, same channel. Until then, have a wonderful week, practice your instrument every day, and listen, and play lots of good music. See you next week.